Anyway, we're here right now in the loading screen.
Yeah, it looks like we actually have everyone ready to go, so we'll be getting to this shortly. And oh, it's actually on Battlefield of Eternity. That's excellent. Every match I've cast so far has been on Tomb of the Spider Queen for some reason.
Right, which, as we've said before, Kyle, my least favorite map in all of Heroes of the Storm. And I think I've done the same. I've had quite a few matches that I've cast for this tournament on that particular map as well. So it seems to be a popular pick amongst a lot of teams. But I do think that I have also seen some folks do some Sky Temple. So it's going to be great to see this new map. And of course, as we're talking here, speaking of maps, a new map going to be coming out very soon.
Oh, yes. I play a lot of Diablo. It's kind of my relax and murder everything, and they've really hit the nail on the head with the random summoning units around the towers and the arcane lasers. I'm so the mortars. They did a great job. It's touching all of the nostalgia, I guess modern nostalgia buttons that I need. References, perhaps we'll call them.
Yeah, references. I think it's those touchstones of your younger days and what that particular game meant for you. So yeah, I think it's been. I was surprised today to see 3 heroes announced at Gamescom. Were you surprised to hear that many heroes announced as well?
Yeah, it's odd to see Blizzard taking to so many different forums to show off their content. It's usually completely silent from here until BlizzCon. But yeah, getting to see 3 heroes, I'm excited about. I'm most excited about Artanis, but I'm gonna get him anyway because of the pre-order. So I'm sitting on 20,000 gold at the moment, and Rhaegar looks pretty cool. Or Rexar.
Yeah, Rexar is a really interesting hero they're gonna bring out. It's gonna be the first ranged warrior class for Heroes of the Storm. So that's gonna be really interesting to see how that mechanic works out. I think he relies very heavily on his famous pet, his bear pet, Misha. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that mechanic works into play. If we want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here in the picks for Team Chocolate, we've got Revendon playing Johanna, it looks like. Willie Dills moving over to Falstad. We have Gerp on Vala, which has been consistent for them in the matches I've cast. And then Hakito is going to be taking on Asmodan. He's pretty solid with his dunks. Last but not least, the sub for this match, taking the spot that Gorath usually plays. Looks like Geek Jock is going to be playing a little Rhaegar tonight.
Interesting choices. Actually, not some of the normal picks you usually see on Battlefield of Eternity. And that's, I'm talking about the big damage specialists, your Gazlos, Murkies to soak the lanes, a Butcher to just run through those Immortals. I mean, yeah, got an Asmodan, and that laser lock-on can get quite a bit done, but he can't move until level 13, and all those stuns are just going to get caught.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you do get that little bit of, kind of lane push with him, which is good. But it's tough in this map, I think, for him, based on how quickly folks can gank him from the either if he's in the bottom lane, gank him from the top, or if he's in the top lane, gank him from the bottom. So he's going to have to, Hakito's going to have to be very cautious, I think, on this particular map. And looking over at the other team, which is it's Diamond, correct?
Yeah, the Diamond Club.
The Diamond Club. Before we shifted into the load screen, I saw an Anubarak, I think, as well on that one. So that means they're might be going for a little bit of a dive comp, you think?
Yeah, Anubarak with the Skeleton King. It's going to be quite a bit of double warrior damage. A Jane in the background of that, the Malfurion, and then the mystery middle character that we cannot see because of the Blizzard UI, and we'll find out here shortly. But I know Willie Dills has been playing mostly Anubarak for Team Chocolate. So interesting to see him switching over to Falstad, which is a completely different ballgame.
Right, and that's not one that I have seen him play yet. I do know that John Jagger, Revendon, who's playing Johanna, that's a regular pick for him. In fact, I think he's close to Master Skin, if not at Master Skin with Johanna. So they're going to get some solid Johanna play out of John. So we're going to get to see how well Willie Dills does as Falstad.
Yeah, and right now, actually, for what we figured out about the Skeleton King, it seems that he is the counter to Johanna. Just a lot of damage she can't escape from the Drain Hope, and it's such a huge amount of her health if you talent into it.
Right. Filling out the rest of the composition, of course, for the Diamond Club is their Malfurion as their support. Jaina is also playing their damage, and Kel'Thas. They've gone double mage, Kyle, which is right now a pretty common choice, I think, for your damage dealers in this particular game so far. That seems to be the meta, right?
Most certainly. And then they got the 2 warriors, so plenty to kind of make those final connections should they escape from the wizards. Everyone's getting out of the lane. Wow, Team Chocolate immediately. Well, don't get in tower range, but they're being rather aggressive here and sending the Asmodan down to deal with the double warriors by himself.
Yeah. And that might be something that Asmodan could hold off. If he could just kind of keep them at bay, keep them away from the turrets, he's going to be able to kind of do some work there and still use that dunk, I think, to get a little bit of lane soak at the bottom.
Now, outside of getting any sort of early lucky or brave ganks, the first big decision is going to be who decides to stay in lane. Actually, right. Skeleton King falling extremely fast in tower range there, but he'll be right back up, in fact, right now.
And Drew Cypher very close to falling as well in that bottom lane. Falstad zipped right down there to try and get the gank off the top lane, and he burrowed right out of that.
As he should. And this top lane, oh, what a lot of explosive potential with both wizards here. Malfurion there in the background to heal him up and keep him topped off on mana. So we'll see if anything can actually buy this wall of Revendon.
Yeah, Revendon's really keeping up the pressure here right up against the turrets for Team Chocolate in the top lane. Vala got a little bit of a spook there. She zips out of that with her vault. And Rhaegar is just doing the same thing. He's just keeping them both up at full health and zipping around. Watch him to drop a totem to try and freeze up one of the mages if they get caught out.
Well, it looks like they're all playing safe, making sure they stay hugging those towers. We have our countdown going for the Immortals. Bottom's decently pushed out. We'll see if anyone decides to stick around and get some XP for their team. My opinion on this map is that getting level 4 is paramount before then you just play defensive.
That's great. I mean, there's really, these last 2 new maps that we've seen from Blizzard have kind of reinforced the idea of getting that early level advantage through lane soak. And once again, I do have to say, I think Ten's our guy. Needs to be a little bit careful with the Skeleton King. He's dropping way down in health a little bit too frequently for my taste. But we'll see how that works out for him long term.
Well, up top, we actually lost 2, in fact, to Nubarak and Jaina. Their Skeleton King falling again, so looks like Team Chocolate really balling up, playing very defensively on top of their guy. Now that the enemy team has 3 down and 2 having to walk back, they're going to wail on the evil Immortal. Skeleton King working on top by himself, but looks like he's going to rejoin his group here. Nice control by Johanna, and a bit of chaos here while the Immortals switch it up.
And that's always a tough transition, I think, when the Immortals decide to switch positions on you. And right again, we got Leoric is going to go down again. Of course, his trait allows him to stay close to the action in his Wraith form. And looks like getting caught out a little bit, too, is Drew Cypher on the Nubarak. He barely gets out of that alive. And there's Rhaegar to try and close in. If he drops the totem, he's going to go down as well, and down he goes.
Oh, that was a good shot by Willie Dills. This position of the Immortals is great for defense, which it seems like Team Chocolate is excelling at the moment. So this switch-up actually working really well in their favor. Rhaegar trying to escape. Looks like he's going to. And that leaves the Wizards and Malfurion fighting it out against the wall of Johanna. And
and Johanna's in a little bit of trouble right now, Kyle. But they're unable to close on her. Her Unstoppable is on cooldown, so she's got to jet out of there quick. Malfurion's in hot pursuit. I don't think Malfurion's going to be able to close with that Moonfire, and Falstad is right there to push Malfurion off, and it looks like Malfurion is going to go down.
Great turnaround by Willie Dills, choosing to defend the Johanna, making a smart little blind there, too, to aid his escape. And very low health, Jaina explodes.
Right, and looks like we've got some harassment here. Nubarak for Diamond Club is trying to peel off of KT to get him out of dodge. He's getting out of there, and Drew Cypher just managing to get out as well. That leaves Tenzar Guy all by himself in the middle against Team Chocolate, and I don't think that's going to be good for Tenzar Guy. He's got to pull back just a little bit. He's way out from his team.
Yeah, he does do decent damage, though, so it looks like he might be... he's definitely dragging away the tank here, but this is going to be not enough damage. And in fact, the good Immortal ends up taking it. Team Chocolate's Immortal are going to be pushing out. Decent little shield, so that'll be range damage for about half its health. At 4 minutes, the Immortal's not going to be able to get a ton done. So we'll see what choices Team Chocolate makes on the back end. And it looks like they're going to push with the Immortal.
And I think that's probably the smart choice. Falstad's going to rejuve up a little bit. Looks like Asmodan might sneak down to the bottom lane to try and get a little bit of push down there. They might go 4 top 1 bottom. Not a bad idea. But towards the end of that incursion there, it looked like both teams were content to just kind of pull back a little bit and regroup to see what was going to happen in this top lane.
Now this is going to be a level 7 for Team Chocolate, which is very important because those talents can be a big boost particularly with the heroes they've picked. So you can see them kind of hover in the background. They're making their choices before they dive back in, and actually going to play it safe and get on out of there before the Immortal falls.
Yeah, Team Chocolate, as I've seen in their gameplay, they can be very conservative and very smart in this in the early game, and they're proving once again that approach is good for them. And to be honest with you, I don't think that their weakness, as they've been self-confessed to say, is aggressive teams that go after them very early in the game, and that doesn't seem to be what Diamond Club is doing.
No, and Team Chocolate has in the past been a little surprised by some very well-practiced combos, but it doesn't look like Diamond Club is bringing too many surprises. Playing very safe for themselves, and of course these two wizards are just going to grow exponentially as the game goes on. So they're certainly not out.
Exactly. I think right now what they've got to do is continue to keep the level balance close, and then they basically get to level 16. Once the game gets to that point, I mean, it's blow up central for those two mages. So that's where Team Chocolate's going to really have to be careful once this matchup gets to level 16 for Diamond Club.
Well, Gerp up in the top lane doing a great job protecting his goatmen, who are pushing quite well. And in the background, Team Chocolate's taking the... What are these guys called? I call them Rakanishus my entire life, because that's what they said in Diablo 2.
Well, that's what we can go with now. I actually don't know what the names are for. I still call them Goatman and then the dude with the dogs. That's usually what I say.
The bruiser equivalents.
Exactly, the bruiser equivalents. And of course, Team Chocolate seems to be scraping all their near side mercenary camps. They've got both the top, the mid, and the bottom. And Tens, our guy, is trying to do his best to fend this off, but he's going to go down again. Back into Wraith mode for him. Looks like Diamond Club is trying to respond by picking up their one near side mercenary camp as well. And once again, here we go. We've got Immortals coming up.
Now, this is a map you can lose a lot of sight on, but in fact, Skeleton King might be a good choice here, even when dead, because of the sight he's going to give his team. Meanwhile, they're still taking those bruiser equivalents, and wow, Azmodan, that laser just burning through the evil Immortal.
Right. I think that for Hakito, that's probably his strongest hero is Azmodan. He does a really good job, and right now he seems to be on his game for sure. That dunk just knocked down both Jaina and Anubarak down in half. They're going to have to get out of dodge, so a good offensive/defensive maneuver there for Team Chocolate.
Looks like Kael'thas going down as well, getting separated from the Skeleton King. Malfurion gonna walk out, gonna be able to top off this Jaina, who's making her way in. Team Chocolate's very grouped up, so there could be a potential here for Diamond Club to make a comeback while they're getting stunned by the Immortal. But looks like they're gonna decide to race and get as little shield as possible on the enemy Immortal.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, their best tactic at this point. We're seeing a 10-8 split right now, so they're keeping the level balance as close as they possibly can. But, of course, Team Chocolate is at level 10, which means they're going to be looking for a team fight, and here we go.
Yep, they immediately go diving to Jaina. She goes down. Everyone else is forced to retreat. No ults used in that engagement. Well, actually, 2, but they still got 3. They've got their stun. They've got their big heal, and Vala has strafe. So still plenty of power for Team Chocolate to keep on pushing.
Yeah, especially going into this top lane push with their Immortal. That's going to be to their advantage. And, of course, Tenzar Guy is down once again, but his Wraith is right there, keeping vision on what's going on the back line behind that Immortal for his team. He's back up again, but unfortunately he's going to get melted right back down again.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of those 3-level deficits at this point. Such a huge amount of power. Here's the team going in. Gerp with the strafe, going to do a lot of damage, taking out the Anubrak. Malfurion barely... Oh, no, he falls to the Johanna, and Kael'thas is left in a defensive position. A good position for Kael'thas, but Skeleton King coming in as well, and let's see if they can at least hold the wall up.
Yeah. Tenzar Guy's doing his best to try and fend this off a little bit, trying to harass. Kael'thas is there with a big, giant flame strike. That's going to be enough to push Team Chocolate off just a little bit. And here comes the rest of Diamond Club. They've got to do a little bit of work here to try and push out the rest of this lane. They're going to have to find a way to try and close this gap, get themselves to heroics as well. That's going to be important. Team Chocolate already moving back to mercenaries. Almost a formula strategy for them right now in terms of successfully getting the Immortal and then rotating out to their mercenary camps. Smart play on their part.
Yeah, well, they have the timing down for sure. Bottom Mercs popping up. Their Bruiser is going to pop up as well in 30 seconds. So if they're the ones who picked this map, they know what they're up to.
Yeah, they have the strategy down. And I think, Kyle, this is really what you want to try and do. You want to kind of get to your immortal fight, close that fight, and then rotate out to the Merc camps afterwards. It's very similar to Dragonite in that way. You know, once the Dragonite event has happened, switching on over to Merc camps is always a smart play. We've got a lot of action here in the bottom lane as Diamond Club is having to fend off another push here in the bottom lane from Team Chocolate.
It looks like everyone's going to get out safe. It's important to note that Diamond Club did get their 10s now, and in fact, once you're over 10, the XP gap between the two teams is considerably smaller. It takes a lot of XP to get up to 10, and less so to advance yourself from 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and so on.
Right. Bottom lane capture of the Merc camps for Team Chocolate, so they're going to start going again in this bottom lane. We're going to see here what exactly can be done by Diamond Club to try and fend this off. We've got Leoric already back down a little bit in health, but Malfurion's there with his Tranquility to get everybody out of dodge.
Very smart.
What a great ultimate.
Yeah, great use of the ultimates there. Everyone's actually going to be topped off once the fountains come in, so they're going to be able to engage here, but Willy Dill's flying in, and we have, full-blown laser
there
destroying the Anubrak. Heal on Willy Dills. And Johanna, she don't care about no towers, walking right up into that wall.
Hinterlands Blast right there, very well placed. Took out basically 2 heroes for Diamond Club. And they're going to be able to probably get these gates and these turrets down right here. And as I look at the nameplates, Kyle, for Team Chocolate, I know you can see it and I can see it. A lot of blue flame on those nameplates right now.
Yeah, a couple of kills. Looks like we're dealing with, a 0 to 22 at the moment.
Yeah.
Actually, quite a bit of that being contributed by the Leoric, but it's hard to keep track of that when you have an ability that gets you back in about half the time of a normal res in the field, no less.
True, but unfortunately, unlike Murky, Leoric takes a full penalty and for that death. So unlike Murky, which gives you fractional takedown points, Leoric gives you a full takedown point. So that starts to hurt you, and that's what's probably contributing to the level gap at this point. He's going to go down again there in the middle. And Team Chocolate is got this great strategy where they're still managing to burn down their opposing Immortal while getting kills. I mean, it's some pretty remarkable stuff here out of Team Chocolate.
Right, this is a very neutral position for them, so looks like Diamond Club's going to try to get some damage on the Immortal, burn those shields away, but actually Team Chocolate getting a little bit out of position. Rhaegar actually taking the forward position there. Willy Dills moving pretty confidently, so there's still a chance for Diamond Club to get a good gank off if Team Chocolate continues to do these sort of bolsterous plays.
Immortal is going to drift down to the bottom lane where it has the least amount of push out, which is what he tends to do. And we're going to see yet another push here on the bottom lane from Team Chocolate. Asmodan getting a little bit of drinky water, a little drinky poo before he's going to join the action.
And there's the Hinterland Blast, blowing up the Jaina. Gerp a little too far back, but going to be able to take out that Snowman. No, he wanders the opposite direction. Leoric getting some health while he uses his March of the Black King through the enemies, but ends up going down as well. 3-level deficit will do that for you. And they are going to be pushing heavy on the back of this Immortal.
There's just not enough, I think, right now. Down 4 levels, not enough right now for Diamond Club to do anything. Malfurion goes down. Anubarak, he's going to go down as well if he's not careful. He's going to try and get out of there. He just used that burrow quick, or he's going to get dunked on. And he goes down as well. And that's, I think this is probably going to be GG game here for Team Chocolate.
Yeah, we do have very low DPS, though, Willy Dills, but that's a full heal going off on Gerp. So Gerp is going to be rejuvenated, heading back over. And looks like Kael'thas is the last one dancing inside the Hall of Storms there, waiting for his friends to res. Malfurion coming in, going to be able to do a little bit of damage, but I think they've locked on, and this will be victory for Team Chocolate.
Right, and as what I would say a perfect match for Team Chocolate, 30-0.
Yeah. Hey, very well played by them, very solid. Quite the... Seems like they've gained some camaraderie since I last watched their games, just really sticking by each other, making sure no man was ever left behind, deciding to go with the early game Asmodan by himself, but quick to aid him, and no one falls for Team Chocolate.
Yeah, I think that was actually a really smart change up for Team Chocolate to go with Falstad, Kyle, because when Asmodan was down there in the bottom lane by himself, Falstad was very, very quickly, as he can do, drop down to support him and not leave him by himself. And that ended up being very effective for them, I think, early on in the game. And they just continued to roll once they got that level advantage.
Well, we can say that the damage for Team Chocolate was considerable. Johanna really surprising me, taking the very top damage of everybody.
Top damage, not top siege, but top damage nonetheless, and taking a fair amount of damage at the same time. Rhaegar doing a very solid job on the heals, keeping everybody up and alive. But look at that takedown for Rhaegar, 29 takedowns for Rhaegar as well. Falstad 29, Vala 28, Asmoden 22, and then Johanna, of course, 27. A lot of hero damage for her. So John Jagger, Revendon, he really did. He did some work in this particular matchup early on.
Yeah, well, great positioning by him. Of course, Rhaegar, not a killing machine, but whenever you heal a friendly hero, you do get tagged into their takedown. And so he got to sort of piggyback a mad 29 number along with his friends.
Right. And Asmoden, of course, demonstrating once again the capability for some tremendous siege damage in this. Looking down at the scores as well for Diamond Club, pretty solid performance out of Kel'Thas on hero damage as well as siege damage. They're just not able, I think, Kyle, to just ever get on a roll. Just needed to get one or two early team fights. They just never got those, and then it was tough for them to recover once they dropped down more than 2 levels.
Most certainly. Well, that concludes our matches for the night. Looks like we'll be this weekend, is it? Moving into the rounds of 16?
Let's see here. I don't know for sure. Is it this weekend?
Or is it the 15th, I think.
I think it's the 15th. This following week as we start to roll into that. And I've heard rumor that yourself and perhaps maybe Garrett Weinzerl might be doing some casting for those matchups. Is there truth to the rumor?
There is truth to that rumor. He is, of course, very busy getting his wedding planned, but will be joining me shortly as we get deeper into this tournament. And those matches will actually be best of 3s instead of these division matches, which have been best of 1s and quite a bit more chaotic. You know, if Diamond Club were to play another map against Team Chocolate, you know, what could they carry on and learn and perhaps do better if it was actually not a best of 1?
Right. I do agree with that. And that's, I think, going to be the interesting thing about the tournament going into the second round are teams that lost to other teams. You know, what can they do to overcome and get a little vengeance for that early loss in the first round? And that next loss, that'll knock somebody right out of the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. And basically, that matchup tonight, that solidifies Team Chocolate. They're obviously going to be moving on to the next round. Diamond Club, they're going to take another loss. It's going to drop them down to 1-3. So if they want to participate in the next round, they've got to basically win out the rest of their games and hope that Hold the Line and Friendship of the Storm stay where they're at or lose a few more matches, as well as Smells Like Team Spirit. So if Diamond Club can pick up 3 more wins before this round ends, they're going to be able to advance to the next stage. And then also looking at Group B here, Kyle, Adults with Jobs, they're going to move on to the next round. The Pantheon is going to move on to the next round. Echo Squad is going to move on to the next round. And then it's going to be a little bit of a race here, it looks like, between Donkey Wall, that's a name, Sandlock Gaming, and Progression Gamers. Those teams are still... They all are kind of right where they need to be. They're all at 2-2, 2-4, 2-4. So if they play their matches out, somebody picks up an extra win or two. That's who's going to make it move on to the next round for Group B. Group C, pretty much locked up at the top spot with Sick Gaming. They're 7-0, so they're definitely moving on. YOLO Sonias, of course. YOLO Sonias,
of course.
Is there any other Sonia but a YOLO Sonia?
It's certainly not in Heroes League.
No, not at all. So YOLO Sonias, they're going to move on to the next round. We've got to kill Mendoza. That team is going to be slated to take that 3rd spot. And then once again, we got a little bit of a race here for the final spot between Disastrous Weather Event, Onion Offensive, and Outside the Box. Deliverance and Tree Hanks already eliminated for the tournament. And then, of course, lastly, Group D. Coldplay's been very dominant so far in the first round. They're going to move on to the next round. Get Me 2 is also going to move on to the next round. Not in the Face is going to move on to the next round. And if Team Stormcast wins out the rest of their games, they will also move into the next round as well, taking the 4th spot. If possibly the 3rd spot, just depends. If Not in the Face loses a couple more matchups. So it doesn't look like that's going to happen, though.
Well, from what I've seen of your all's team, I think you're going to do just fine. I'm looking forward to casting you guys some more. Thank you for joining me tonight. In fact, you invited me, so thank you for letting me join you in this case.
What does it matter? As long as we get to cast some matches, it's always fun to watch, solid, try-hard players try hard and do well. And I think that's what we saw tonight. We saw a team try hard and succeed.
Most certainly. Well, where can people find you? And this video will be posted later tonight.
Folks can find me at a couple of different places. I do a Heroes of the Storm podcast, just like Kyle does. Mine's called Stormcast, which you might think would be accurate considering my team in this tournament. It's called Team Stormcast. You can find that show.
That's branding right there.
Exactly. You can find that show at stormcastshow.com. We're available, of course, in all the places you consume podcasts like iTunes or Stitcher. Do a little World of Warcraft podcast as well. It's called The Starting Zone. It's been around for 6 years, and we're super proud of it. And you can find that at thestartingzone.com. And then I have 2 other shows that I might as well throw out on the table as well. I do a Walking Dead fan cast called Dead Fans Talking, which you can find at deadfanstalking.com. We're going to be starting to do some new episodes as the new series Fear the Walking Dead comes out. So that's going to be firing up again in August. And then we just launched, Kyle, a brand new show last week out of Spazbot Studios. It's called Super Heroic, and it's about comic books that turn into movies and TV shows and all the things that happen in and around that. We do 2 to 3 episodes a week, and you can find that show at superheroicshow.com, as well as all those shows available, as I said, on iTunes and Stitcher. And if you want to find me on Twitter, you can. I'm over on Twitter at Mick Montgomery. I'm not hard to find.
Well, it sounds like your new show is going to have more than enough content for maybe the next, 10 years? The schedule goes on and on right now.
I was a little bit worried when we decided to do it that there wouldn't be, and every week I find myself having to cut stuff out of the show just so we can try and keep some semblance of a time format when we record. But so far it's been great. I have a variety of different hosts that come on every week and do 2 or 3 shows with me, and we release those out throughout the course of the week. In fact, we'll be releasing probably 3, or I think we're going to be releasing 3 episodes this week as well. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. Well, people can find me on Into the Nexus Thursday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and of course wherever podcasts are found. And my solo stream, solo Q&A. This past week I did replay analysis of Gold League players, according to Hot Slogs, that is. And that is on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Follow me on Twitter at Kyle Fergusson, and that'll be it for me, Mick, until we join each other next time to cast a game. Everyone, good luck, have fun. Thank you for joining me.